Hi everyone, Eileen Bayer, the fam here. Welcome to the first installment of this mini-series on epilepsy. Before we start, just wanted to let you know that this series is going to be more than like 5 videos because there's a lot involved in epilepsy, and that's why I chose for the first video the epilepsy awareness ribbon, because that's what this is about, is bringing awareness to epilepsy so that more people might understand it, so there'll be less prejudgment, and to hopefully help others who have it or know somebody that has it, what it is, what's involved, how to treat it, and basic information about it. So this first segment that we're going to go over is just about what it's going to talk about. What is epilepsy, the definition of it, and to give you a little understanding on what it is. And then we'll go into, probably tomorrow will be the second one. I'm going to actually, instead of doing this every day, I am going to be changing the system of this to doing a video every other day. So tomorrow I will be just doing my notes on what's going to be done, and Wednesday I will be putting it up. So I will be doing this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this series here is going to actually take a little bit more time than normal, because I want to do it differently so everybody gets a chance to see the video instead of me doing it the way I was with doing a video every day. I am going to be doing it to doing a video every other day, so you have a better chance of seeing the latest video compared to me doing one every day and you're not getting a chance to see them. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get started with this. And as before, please forgive me if you see me looking down like this every once in a while. I will be checking my notes to make sure that I say the proper things and I don't go astray and put my own words in or thoughts on epilepsy, because I don't want you to be misinformed. Excuse me. So, epilepsy. What is epilepsy, you may ask? Well, epilepsy is a chronic disorder, the hallmark of which is recurrent. It produces unprovoked seizures, or one unprovoked seizure within the likelihood of more, that were not caused by some other known or reversible medical condition, like alcohol abuse, or extremely low blood pressure. So see, if you have extremely low blood sugar, you can have a seizure. If you're withdrawn, going through withdrawals, better known as DTs, you can have a seizure. But epilepsy is not either one of them. These are unprovoked. You could just be doing your daily things in the house, like cleaning or whatever, and you could have a seizure. The seizures in epilepsy may be related to a brain injury or a family tendency, but often the case is completely unknown. Okay, and I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit. My late husband, at about, I would say, in the early 90s, he had seizures. With his seizures, his was accompanied by really, really bad headaches. Well, he went to a neurologist, and they did an MRI, and they found out that he had brain tumors. Now, how he got the brain tumors, we don't know. They weren't cancerous, thank God. But brain tumors itself is considered a brain injury, and it can cause seizures. He had them. They were pretty bad, but we made it through it. When they took out the seizures, and they took him off of the medication for the seizures, he didn't have anymore. So that's one thing that they were talking about a brain injury. If you have brain tumors, they can cause seizures. So you see, there's 3 different ways you can have seizures yet. But epilepsy is not classified in any of them because there's no known cause for it. So besides having a brain tumor or going through DTs or low sugar, okay, someone with epilepsy has them frequently and more often. And like anything else, they have their range from mild to severe. And we'll go over that in the next installment when we discuss what are seizures and give you a little bit more understanding on what a seizure is. But I just want you to know what epilepsy is and, reiterate that epilepsy is not having a seizure because of low blood sugar or brain tumor or any other type of brain injury or low sugar. So you can have seizures for them, but that is not considered epilepsy. And I just wanted to make sure that is known. Okay. The word epilepsy does not indicate about the cause of the person's seizures or their severity. Many people with epilepsy have more than one type of seizure and may have other symptoms of neurological problems as well. So epilepsy, covers a lot, and as I said, as we go along, you'll understand a lot more of it, but I just want people to have, in this first one, bring awareness to what epilepsy is. As always, you need to know what the first one is before you can understand everything. You need to see the whole picture. Okay? Sometimes they use they'll do EEG testing. They'll check your clinical history, family history, and outlook of some similar or a group of people with epilepsy. So they do different things to find out if you have epilepsy. They'll do, they could do an EEG. They'll take your family history. They'll have a clinical history of how many times you've been to the doctor for it. To get a better understanding of what's going on. In these situations, their conditions can be defined as specific epilepsy syndrome. Although the symptoms of a seizure may affect any part of the body, the electrical events that produce the symptoms occur in the brain. And this is, I want to let people know that's why this is considered a mental illness and not a physical. The convulsions that a seizure produces is because of something that's going on here in the brain. It's not a physical. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand that it's mental. It's not something you can see all the time. Somebody could look, excuse me, my throat's a little dry. Somebody could look perfectly normal on the outside, but it doesn't mean that everything's okay. We will go into more detail on this and stuff so you have a better understanding, but just to make it known, epilepsy is not a physical illness, it's a mental illness. It's when the brain reacts differently and causes seizures. It causes the body to spasm in different areas, and there's a lot involved in it. And so, you know, just to make it clear, epilepsy is another mental health illness. It's not considered physical. Okay? The location of the event, how it spreads, how much of the brain is affected, and how long it lasts all have profound effects. These factors determine the character of the seizure and its importance to the impact on the individual. Okay? Having seizures in epilepsy can affect one's safety, their relationships, their work, their driving, and so much more. And because what they're saying is a person that has seizures, they could be driving down the road when they're an epileptic, because sometimes there is no warning signs of a seizure coming. Okay? So they could be driving down the road and all of a sudden have a seizure and their safety is in jeopardy. They could be walking and everything fine, and all of a sudden a seizure come on. When a seizure comes on, they have no control over their body. The body convulses rapidly and violently, where if they're outside, like on concrete, they can split their head open, they can do damage to themselves. If there's any objects around them, they can grab the objects. It's very hard. I learned about seizures with my husband's brain tumors, and I did have friends that were epileptic. I still have friends that have epilepsy, and I tried to learn. So if I was in their presence and they had a seizure, there's going to be different things we're going to discuss later on, and some things I can tell you from firsthand that I experienced with seizures, that will be helpful. But like I said, right now it's just epilepsy awareness on this first one, on what is epilepsy, to give you an understanding of what it is. Okay, so that's what this video is about. Tomorrow's video we'll be going into what is a seizure. It will be giving a better definition so you can understand when I say they go into a seizure, what you'll know what it's about. Excuse me. Like I said, when my husband had his brain tumors and he was having seizures from the brain tumors, there'd be times when he'd go into the seizure, we had to do certain things for his safety and protection because they are violent. I don't mean they're violent towards other people, but a seizure is violent to the person where it can do harm to them. So there's a lot of things involved that we're going to be bringing up as we go along. So I hope this gave you a little bit more understanding on epilepsy. I know it's not a lot of information on the first one. It was just basically telling you what epilepsy is. As it stated, there is no known cause for it. They haven't defined any cause of it yet, whether it was hereditary or anything. They have not found a definite cause for epilepsy. Dang. So, there's no preventive measures for it if you don't know the cause. And of course, we're going to go through in this series on the signs of it and all that to give you a little bit more understanding. But as I said, I hope this beginning one gives you a little bit more understanding on what epilepsy is and what it is not. Now remember, epilepsy is not when you have a seizure from low sugar. Epilepsy is not from DTs, and it is not from a brain tumor. Epilepsy, once a person has it, it's kind of like diabetes. When a person gets diabetes, they can go, it can be controlled to a certain point, but just because their blood sugar is normal for a period of time does not mean that they're a diabetic. Once you're a diabetic, you're a diabetic. Same thing with epilepsy. Once you are an epileptic, you're an epileptic, okay? Because you don't know when the next one's going to hit. You could go 2 or 3 years perfectly and be seizure free, and then all of a sudden out of the blue, bam, you have a seizure again. So, you don't want to judge somebody and say, well, I've known them for like 2 years and they haven't had a seizure, so that doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing. Once a person has an illness, they have an illness. Now, as far as, a person with epilepsy, they may not allow them to drive. I don't know. Laws in different states are different. I do know, like in New Hampshire, where I'm originally from, when my husband had when he had a seizure on the road, his seizures, because it was from brain tumors, he got warning from it. His fingers and his face were prickly, and normally when he did this over his face, but he touched his face, that was his sign and our sign that a seizure was coming on. And he would pull over. But the thing is because he had the seizures, they took his driver's license away. And the law in New Hampshire was he couldn't get his driver's license back until he met certain conditions. And one of the conditions there was he had to be seizure-free for at least 3 years. And he had to have a doctor's statement giving him the okay to have his license back, stating that he can drive. Now, remember, he had a brain tumor. He was not epileptic. He did not have epilepsy. His seizures were from brain tumors before they were removed. So, epilepsy, the laws might be different. They may be the same. I cannot say either way because that was not my personal situation that I had experienced. So, before I go, I want to leave you with these words. To remember always, and I mean always, and I'm talking to you out there, yes, that's right, you. I want you to see with your heart and not with your eyes, because your eyes, this is what you see. You see my hair, my face, you see the outside only. But when you see with your heart, you go deep. You see from the inside out. You get to learn and understand the person. You see them for who they are truly. No, and you don't judge, you know, when you see from the outside, you pretty much judge people for the way they look, the way they talk, the way they walk, or the way they dress. It's superficial. Seeing from these is superficial. But seeing from your heart, that's real. Because you're not seeing this. You're seeing what's inside of them. So you're getting a more clearer picture of who they are. And you're learning to love them and accept them for that. Because no one on this planet is perfect. Not even me. No one is perfect. We all have our faults. We all have our good points and we have our bad points. But if we could all, just think, if we could all see with our heart how much better this world would be. Seeing with your heart, you'll understand people a lot better. You'll understand their situation a lot better. It's always best to see from inside out instead of outside in. Okay? So, until tomorrow, remember, see with your heart and not your eyes. And I love you for who you are. I accept you for who you are. You are beautiful. You are uniquely made. And you deserve the same love, respect, and understanding as anybody else does. And I love you until tomorrow. Bye.